And welcome in to Bullseye. Darek Sharp back after lounging last week in Las Vegas, just doing nothing. No, I was watching the football game. I was working, doing radio broadcasts with women's basketball. Caylee, Cottrell, and Joey Johnston join me. We'll have Alex Golesh on, Jeremiah Koger, and special guest, CEO of Athletics, Rob Higgins. Yes, we have to talk about what happened in Annapolis, Maryland. Bulls are still 7-3, but a very, very difficult loss, 41-38. Joey and Caylee, you were both there, Joey. 24-9 at halftime. Most teams would be tapped out at that point. The Bulls made it a game, but it was that 24-9 halftime situation that eventually was too much to overcome.
Yeah, first of all, a gut-wrenching loss, obviously one of the worst feelings you're ever going to have for the Bulls to have all those things at stake and then have it blow up in your face. But man, Navy, we knew it was coming, and it happened the way we thought with the possessions and keeping them away from explosives, which didn't happen a lot. But USF made a great game of it in the second half. It literally is just a play here, a play there. If it would have gone different, the Bulls could have won the game. But to come that close, to get to win within 41-38, it hurt. It hurt bad. And now we see how the players respond. We think they'll respond very well, but it doesn't take away from the hurt of that game. But that's football. Didn't get it done, got to move forward.
Yeah, I started to do some research on how many times Navy had a 2-touchdown lead at halftime, and anyone came even close. And I stopped at like 2019. It doesn't happen very often. Third quarter, stop, score, stop, and then just quite enough. But man, they were so close. Now that was the game part of it, and Byron Brown will get into his incredible game and the offense, more than 550 yards. But the atmosphere side of it, special environment to begin with. Caylee, what did you think from down there on the field?
You know what, one of the coolest things about this last weekend for me was seeing all the families of our guys that showed up and showed out. I mean, Byron had about 100 people there, and Koger had about 60 or 70 there, and I talked to Skinner's dad the night before, who showed up at the hotel to welcome us all when we got there, and he had about 30 people there, and they were all talking about tailgating together at this church across the street.
Skinner,
and they were just
that way then, huh?
Yes,
oh,
yeah,
nice.
It was about a 3-hour drive for his family from Jersey, so was super cool to just look up into the stands and see all the support that our guys have.
Excellent. And again, 41-38, it was big time stuff, and we've had a lot of those games in the conference, and they could go either way. Unfortunately, it's gone the other team's way by 3 points twice on the road for the Bulls. Speaking of the road, that's where they'll be next against UAB. We'll hit on that in our closing segment. You're going to want to stick around for Jeremiah Koger. We can't wait to talk to that freshman who's having one of the best, if not the best, freshman receiving campaigns, not only in the country, but in USF history. But first, let's get on with the head coach. Darek Sharp with Joey Johnston and the head coach, Alex Golesh. Coach, I was watching in Las Vegas. You can blame me if you want to, because I wasn't on the show last week, but seriously, I'm sure I had the same reaction as a bunch of Bulls fans. Thought the Bulls were going to pull it out close, but obviously the start hurt you guys so much last week.
Yeah, I think the story of the game, it's really that first half, and we get 7 drives defensively, and we end up 24 points, and we get 7 full drives offensively, and we end up with 9. And so you get into halftime and settle in a little bit, and then you're playing from behind and fought like crazy to get back, and back and forth there in the fourth, and really needed one more stop and needed one more score. And close doesn't matter in this game, and obviously disheartening, but we've got a lot to improve on. We've got a lot to continue to grow with. Encouraged by the effort, encouraged by the intent. Our detail has got to continue to grow and get better, and I think it will as we go finish this thing out. I think our intent so far has been really, really good.
As they always say, it's all about the response. What kind of response have you seen from your team so far?
Yeah, it's. I think it took everybody about 24 hours and then maybe a little bit more to snap out of it. It's a feeling that is hard to replicate. It's hard for anybody to understand when you've got a bunch of young guys and a big staff that is so bought into what you really want to do. Which I give our staff a lot of credit. We've continued to just believe in the fact that we've got to continue to get better and better and better. I think for the young guys that are playing, they've worked so incredibly hard to put themselves in a position in November to continue to play meaningful games. And it takes a lot out of them to know, all right, we were there, we didn't finish. We were there again, we didn't finish. what I give them a lot of credit for is, Coach, tell us how we finish. And ultimately they've responded really, really well, that they've gone right back to work. They've gone right back to holding each other accountable. They've gone right back to being really intentful in their preparation. And ultimately the best thing that you can do is go play again against somebody else and show a response that I know our guys will.
Generally, when teams are down by 2 scores at Navy, it's game over. Certainly not 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter scoring against Navy. And of course, we got to go with Byron Brown, sets a season high in passing yards. I know he continues to get talked about, but there's a reason for that. Did you see something focus-wise and mentality-wise that he wanted to try and win that game even more so?
I think he's the same every single day. Wow. He practices like it. He prepares like it. I think the ultimate confidence and probably the ultimate compliment to Byram is every single guy in that locker room would tell you every time he steps foot on the field, something great's going to happen. And that's because of the way he works, the way he prepares, but it's also because of what he's done on the field up until this point, and what he's been able to do in terms of growth from a throwing standpoint, growth in understanding the run game and the RPO game. He just continues to take such monumental steps, and the guys around him continue to get better and better. You see so much youth out there. I'm so encouraged by the youth because you continue to see a Jeremiah Koger step up and make plays, and a Christian Neptune, and a Moody Rubin, and Keyshawn Singleton continues to get better, and our backfield continues to get better. Tight ends continue to get better. You're seeing this growth around him. Elite quarterbacks make others around him better, and Byram is certainly that.
There's a lot of cool statistics Byram has, and sometimes you kind of sell those statistics, but some of the ones he has now you really don't have to sell. I mean, they kind of awestruck you a little bit. I mean, a chance to be a 3,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher. There's a ton of them like that. I don't know how deeply you dig into those numbers. I mean, you see this guy every day, but do you ever take a step back and say, this is fairly special what this guy's doing this year?
I haven't. I probably should look at the individual statistics. I look at, as you're playing teams, you look at where are you compared to them, where are you analytically compared to them, in some hidden categories that you probably don't see truly on a stat sheet. I could tell you he's pretty special by the way we're able to go game plan around him, and the way we're able to build and build from one week to the next and complement one thing to the next, and how easy it is for him to understand it, how easy it is for him to go replicate it on the field. I think what makes him really, really different right now than he's ever been is his ability to tell you, I don't want to do that, I want to do that. And being confident in, I like this on third down, I like this in the tight zone, where year one was very much take it all in, work really, really hard to understand, to process, to execute it. I think now, so confident in what he really likes. And we as coaches now, that's the part of having consistency at that position. We now know, man, he don't like that, he loves that. How do we build on that because he's comfortable with that? And that's where, when you have a quarterback in year 3 of a system, you kind of grow the system around him. You grow the system around him because you know what he likes, what he doesn't, what he's good at, and what he isn't.
You mentioned he has a lot of weapons around him, how they've improved. We're going to have Jeremiah on the show later on, so I want you to speak about how he ends up down here. Big-time power program up in Maryland, and I know you know about him, but a lot of other people know about him. He ends up a Bull.
Yeah, Jeremiah's special. He's still really learning and growing every single day. But the thing that you love about Jeremiah is it's the same person every day. For a freshman to come in and have the confidence that he has is special, very, very rare, because it's not a bravado or a fake confidence. He truly knows that he can go play with anybody at any point in the country, and that confidence, I always joke with, like, it's the basketball player in him. It's the years of AAU basketball where you're going up against the best competition in the country every weekend, and it's dog eat dog, and if you can't hang in there, you're gonna go down pretty quickly. And also, you meet his family, and you meet mom, and you meet dad, and you understand why he comes to work every day the way he does. They pushed him. They didn't take no BS. And he wasn't allowed to have any BS. And so he's special from a mindset standpoint. He works. He also will tell you he's got so much more to grow and develop and learn. He's long, gangly. He's filling out. I think this is like he's scratching the surface of physically what he is. The recruiting with Jeremiah was fascinating. He had a good junior year. We obviously like big, long receivers. We were trying to figure out, do you go up to Maryland to go get a receiver? Man, we're kind of in an area where there's a bunch of receivers. And as we went through our process, it was LD Washington at that point, went and saw him in the spring and was like, man, like the growth this kid made from the season to the spring. And usually with tall, long receivers, kind of like tight ends, they start to develop, like growing into their bodies later than everybody else. And I remember LD calls like, dude, I think I got the guy. Well, in the meantime, he commits to another place. And so now it's gloves off and it's a dogfight. But I'll give the kid a lot of credit. He made the best decision for him. He wanted a culture, he wanted an environment, and he wanted an offense where he can go and be free to play. And he certainly got all of that here. I think it helped us that he was able to come visit with his dad initially, then mom, and the family. Like, you just feel this love. We were just up at Navy. He had, 60 people, but home games are like that with him. He's got a really cool support system, and Jeremiah is one of those guys that when you walk into a room, the smile lights up the room, the energy lights up the room. You can coach him, he'll take the coaching, but he'll always have something funny to say back. He, in a lot of ways, is the reason you coach, because he just continues to get better. His response to things is awesome. And he's just got to get less tired now if he's going to run around as much as we ask him to.
Nice job.
When you talk about recruiting a young guy like Jeremiah Koger, I think back in the day, there was no transfer portal. The week after the Super Bowl, we had our signing day. It was all very neat and tidy. You probably remember those days. A little different now. The calendar's up a little bit. So you're preparing for games, but what about the other side of it? What's going on right now with talent acquisition, getting ready for the transfer portal, recruiting? We're sitting here in November. Where are you right now? What's going on?
Yeah, I think the one thing that hasn't changed with the calendar is you got to recruit every day. It's truly the lifeblood of our program. It's everybody's job in our building to recruit. And there's something that if you're not doing, somebody else is. And so from the head coach down through our scouting department, it's your job to recruit every single day. So we've got a ton of commitments. We're hanging on to all those guys and fighting and clawing to hang on to those guys. We're continuing to evaluate this class. I think senior film to us still matters in so many ways. There's so many guys, especially in this part of the country, that have had incredible senior years that you're like, man, like I'd like to get that kid or that kid or that kid. And so many places around the country are filled up. There's so many factors. There's so many staffs that have been let go. So there's other guys that are looking. There's something to do every minute of every day. So the balance of the football and the recruiting is absolutely critical. The portal, as the window has moved a little bit later, kind of gives you a little bit more time to figure out what your strategic plan is there. For us, our heavy focus has been on these high school guys to get to December, the first week of December, and get everybody that we really want to continue to build this program from the ground up and build it inside out before we get to the portal piece.
Just to show how things have changed, you were just talking about seniors, and I would assume in the past high school. You were talking about seniors in college then, or high school? The senior film.
Oh, high school, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. You just never know.
The old traditional stuff.
One thing you can show.
It's digital now. Digital.
No film, yeah, right.
One thing you can show the seniors, I'm guessing you are anyway, the TGH Center for Athletic Excellence. I mean, that has come across new renderings of that, but you know what's going on there in the last couple of weeks. I see it's going to have a barbershop and a movie theater and a recording studio. Has that been a recruiting piece?
Yeah, we've waiting for the renderings to go public, because we've been showing those for a minute now. I think that place, as we it's really 2 years ago now, went around the entire country. And I give Jay Stroman and his crew so much credit. You know, we got here, and it was one of the first things I did was we sat down. They're like, Coach, what's really important to you? We're working through the architectural plan. And I'm like, man, I've been here for a month. I got no idea. And fast forward a year where it was time to like start making some decisions. I said, man, like any football coach, like I got to see somebody else do this to tell you like that's the right way, that's the wrong way. And we got on a plane and went and saw the last 6 buildings that got built, because there is no like concept or design. There's only 100 and however many of them in the country, and we went and saw the last 6 and kind of took the best of everything we saw and redid the entire thing. And like I said, a lot of credit to Jay and Jonathan Gibson and Andrew Warsaw spent a lot of time working on it. During the season, it's the last thing on my mind, but I see updates, I get updates, but it's going to be, and I know I keep saying it, everybody's probably like, man, what the heck is this guy talking about? It will be as nice as there is in the entire country in terms of functionality, space, the transitions from meeting rooms to training table, to the weight room, to the training room, to the locker room, to the recovery areas, state of the art, spacious. It'll give us every imaginable tool to continue to recruit at a high level, and not just recruit, but retain and actually take care of the players that are here. But man, if we've used it in recruiting, we have hammered it home.
It's going to attach from this IPF to the OCS eventually. Before we wrap up, Coach, he's probably going to be in this seat next week because I'll be again on duty with women's basketball in the Bahamas. I know it's going to be rough, but I know.
Coach, we're going to Birmingham.
I know.
We're going to the Bahamas.
How about it?
Man.
It doesn't matter where, just get the wins. Anyway, Jim Lauk might be in this seat next week. I'm not going to have him talk about himself in his last broadcast, so I'm going to have you send any messages about Jim Lauk and your experience with him, because this will be it. This will be his 40th year and final.
Man, Jim, I told him I'm trying to get to year 4. You're over 40. Man, for me, my first time being a head coach, that partnership, I guess I didn't realize how much time you spend and the trust you got to have. He's been awesome. He's 30 minutes early to our scheduled time, so I walk out of my office and there he is. He's dressed in a shirt, dress slacks every time. I mean, just a professional as they get. He's had a lot of words of wisdom for me. He's seen everybody come through here on the basketball side, on the football side, on the baseball side, and he's always got an honest message, a true message, and always respectful of the things I tell him. I imagine it's going to be hard to replicate that relationship, going to be hard to replicate that professionalism, and I'm sure we'll try to do it, but you could just tell what this place has meant to him. He was here when it started. He's seen the growth. He's super proud of the growth. I think it'll be surreal for him in a year and a half to walk into that stadium and see it go from the start to where it is. But we're going to continue to work really hard to make guys like Jim, but certainly Jim Lauk, proud.
I appreciate that.
Here's
very
something
much.
to consider. Back in the day, I think we have a young Alex Golesh in middle school trying to figure it out, and somewhere in Tampa in 1997, first football game of USF, Jim Lauk's making the call. And he's still making the call, and here you are, all grown up.
I know.
How about that? How about the longevity?
Like I said, I'm trying to get to anywhere near his realm of longevity.
I know that he appreciates you, and we appreciate you. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
We will talk to Jeremiah Koger next, and remember, Rob Higgins after that, so don't go anywhere. Bullseye continues. Darek Sharp with Caylee, Cottrell, and our guest this week on the player side, number 16, Jeremiah Koger. Speaking of numbers, putting up a lot of great ones. I'm not going to embarrass you with all the numbers. I'm just going to ask you, Jeremiah, how do you think you've been performing since October or so on?
Obviously, like the numbers are reflecting it. I feel like I've been playing really well, but obviously I still have room to improve with me being a freshman. You know, I still got a long way to go. So, you know, just putting in where I can put in as of now.
You're doing pretty well. We did have a freshman on the receiving front, Christopher Neptune, on a couple of weeks ago, and I told him, freshmen don't often get on this show, so you have to be doing something special. You do seem like you're more mature than a freshman. How do you think you've matured?
I'll give a lot of credit to my high school, St. Francis Academy, you know, a national powerhouse. So around there, we kind of treat things like the next level so we can be prepared for here. So like a lot of our schedule and stuff and coaching and practice days, it kind of reflects like how the college practice goes now. So I'll kind of say like it was a little bit more of a like smoother like process of me coming in because I already had it going on in high school.
Shout out to St. Francis.
What has that transition been like, and how are you settling in at USF? Give us your vibe on how you're finding your footing here.
My teammates and the staff like made the transition like really easy.
Good.
Like I fit in like so well. Like it's kind of like I just jumped right back into high school. Like everyone's like family here. Like you know, like the coaches and like. You know, like I was coming into college thinking like, okay, everything's finna be serious or like, you know, but like times it gets serious, but then times you're playing. So like it's kind of a good mix. So it's not too like harsh. So it's like easy for me to settle in.
Good.
So for people that don't know, Baltimore, Maryland, and a great institution, one that was nationally ranked in the top 10 last year and often is. So speaking of Maryland, you just had a pretty good game in the state of Maryland, a career high 9 catches, 112 yards. Extra special touchdown catch from an unlikely source.
Yeah.
Was that special for you, the whole situation?
Yeah, it was. I had a lot of family there, probably about 100 family there.
Wow.
So
one family member for every yard.
Yeah, and I had, so when I actually scored in that end zone, some of my family was standing like around the edge. So seeing them right there after I got it from scoring a touchdown, that was live.
That's tremendous.
That's super special.
The play itself, did you know it was coming?
I did.
How far in advance?
When I was thinking like, when the play was going on, I'm like, oh, this is taking longer than usual. I couldn't see like how he had to catch the ball from behind him. But once I seen the ball in the air, I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna make a play.
The he being the Kai Davenport.
Yeah, the Kai Davenport.
I mean, during plays like that, is there anything about your game that you rely on? Is it your hands? Is it your speed? What is it for you?
So on that specific play, it wasn't really too much to it. Like I just had like a little fake block. I had to set it a little bit extra. And then with being the circumstances that the play took so long, like the ball was in the air for a pretty long time, I had to wait a long time and the ball came really low. So I just had to rely like on my hands to catch a low ball and it happened.
This is a great segue because speaking of having to wait a little bit, you got on the field in the receiving situation after a month of action. And since then, folks, let's see, 5 TDs since the start of October, 5 TDs and more than 300 yards of receiving. No one else has done that in that month as far as freshmen go. What was that waiting period like? And then when did you feel like, all right, I'm really part of this offense now?
So the waiting period for me, like coach say a lot of times, like if you're not in, just taking mental reps. So as of like I had Chaz and Keyshawn in front of me, which are like great examples.
Yes.
So I'm just taking all the reps that I can, and when I'm getting in, like making sure I'm doing my job. And I knew that at some time, like my time was going to come, and I would have to execute. And I guess the month of October, my time came, and I had to execute.
And good start in November too.
One of my favorite things I've heard on the sideline this whole season was, I think it was during the FAU game after Eccles' touchdown. He came running up to you, looked at you, and said, "You're the one that started this," referencing your catch earlier in that drive. I mean, talk to me about how this receivers room just lift each other up like that.
Everyone feeds off of each other. Like we have so many weapons in the receiving room. Like you never, like truly on defense, like you never know who the ball can go to. Like, and that takes so much weight off of like our shoulders. Like, not being able to be like double teamed or triple teamed because they never know truly who the ball is going to. So with that being said, like we have so much fun with this ball being spread out so much. Like it's a blessing.
All right, so just to get the numbers straight, I actually had to jot down some notes. 6 touchdowns as a freshman leads freshman, and then the October thing, 5 TDs and over 300 yards, only 3 players in FBS. And we are obligated, we must always ask a receiver about a certain person. I'm thinking you can guess who it is. What's it been like working with Byram? He's got to be incredible.
Man, BB, it's always high with BB, man. High energy guy. You know what you're getting out of him every day. You know, me and BB, we get after a little bit extra, get some extra throws in so we can just have our time together. But you know, having a player like BB, you know what he's going to bring in every game. Like, you know, I know y'all see him, he hurdling someone else every different week. So, you know, you always got to stay on your P's and Q's. But, you know, having Byram, it's just like, obviously one of the best QBs in the country. It's just like amazing. You know he's going to do what he has to do to get you the ball. And then you know that when he has the ball, you have to do what you do so he can get in the end zone, whether it's like blocking or, you know, just running off a player. But every day you come in, you know what you're getting from Byram. So that's just great to have.
Fantastic.
We're talking about teammates. After practice, I was talking to Mac, and he said that I have to ask you, and quote, per Mac Harris, He said you have to ask Koger. J Money.
Who gave you that nickname, I wonder?
The nickname, explain it to us and that dynamic with him.
So, my nickname I actually got my nickname when I was 8 years old. So I was living in Georgia. I was playing football. I just got a new football team. My coach had picked me up for practice, and like this was our first time meeting each other because I just moved to Georgia. He picked me up like, oh, do you have a nickname? I was like, yeah, my name's Jeremiah, but like my family name is like, they call me Maya. He's like, we can't call you Maya. We gonna call you J Money. And ever since then, J Money kind of just stuck with me.
Oh,
And
okay.
as far as Mac, man, you know, he on the defensive side of the ball, but like, man, me and Mac, it's like we're in the same room together. Like, you know, my nickname J Money. He always joking around. J Money, where the money at? Can I get some money? I know you got all the money. I'm like, nah. Hey Mac, come on, bro. We know you got all the money, bro. But as far as that, like me and Mac, it's like a brother, like a big brother that I, like, you know.
That's so fun.
Has he ever reminded you that he was a quarterback in high school? I'm sure.
Nah, he hasn't.
Doesn't?
He hasn't.
You know what, Mac? If you're watching, I'm surprised in a good way, buddy. He always continues to surprise us. What else did you have some behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah, you know, I want to bring up your style a little bit because he also said you have to ask him about his chain. And I know what he's I've seen what he's talking
question,
about.
he starts
it
looking back.
spins, like it's this elaborate. Describe it to us. I'm sure there's some video we can play. But give us the rundown of the style over here.
The chain it is a Cuban chain with the pendant as the J, and there's a like a dollar sign on top that
Spins.
And yeah, that's basically the description of it.
So fun.
Well, listen, you have been putting out the style as a freshman. It's still hard to believe when I say that you're so talented. I got to ask you, I'm sure Bulls fans are wondering, you know, it was a tough loss last weekend. What's the response of the team been, and what are your outlook going into these last few?
You know, it's never good to have a loss, but the response of the team has been right now, just get back to it. Like, we still got a lot to play for. You know, we still got games left. We're going to finish out strong. So, like, we kind of just like, it happened. Like, we can't get it back now. We're kind of letting it go and move on to the next game. It's not going to change in the way that we're playing. It's not going to change the way that we, like, around the facility, no one's droopy faces, you know, no one's, like, looking down at each other. We're just trying to get to the next one, trying to get that nice taste out of our mouth.
Absolutely, Jeremiah. I'm sorry, J Money. Mr. October. Now it's Mr. November. Thanks for all the time.
Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
Appreciate it. Rob Higgins, we'll have to come up with a nickname for him, but actually he's kind of my boss, so we'll just introduce Rob Higgins next on Bullseye. A star has joined us here on Bullseye, Rob Higgins, the CEO of USF Athletics. Before we get into some of the things that have been going on, I want to highlight your sneakers. When did that start? Was it the sneaker soiree more than a decade ago?
It probably was. I mean, if we're going to go business attire like this, you got to at least be somewhat comfortable. I get my fair share of steps in throughout the building and across campus, so the feet at least have to be comfortable.
Do you take any flack for it? Obviously, no one's going to give you flack on a general daily basis, but do some people just rib you about it?
Nobody is doing it to my face.
Okay.
Probably a lot of people behind my back, which is totally clear. Cool. If you don't have the guts to say it to my face, then it is what it is.
Well, Mayor Bob Buckhorn, I think, on the introductory press conference, and then that sort of got swept under the rug, I'm sure. It's been about 50 days since you've been on the job. It's been nonstop, welcoming everybody in at 6 a.m. I don't know if you get sleep. I know it's a broad question, but how have these 2 months or so been?
It's been incredible. You have this dream or vision of what it would be like to finally get a chance to sit in the chair and be a part of such a special athletic department, and it's far exceeded every expectation. And to now continue to build our leadership team and build our culture, and then on a parallel path, have such a special football season going, as well as all the fall sports, and the basketball season's underway. It's truly been incredible. It's in every minute type of effort around the clock, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Rob, as a lot of people know, you grew up with this program, and makes you a little different than somebody coming from the outside to be the head of athletics. You bring a certain kind of passion and love for this place. How would you best describe it? It just seems like you're having a blast doing this. You love everything about it. How do you describe the emotion you feel for this place and how it affects the way you do your job?
Well, it's indescribable to me. I mean, it is. I just have so much passion and affinity for USF. I wasn't born here, but I was raised by this campus, and to know what it's meant to our family, both my parents having gone here, my sister having gone here. I mean, this is truly an incredible institution that has helped make our whole family and all of our hopes and dreams. So to be able to play a small role in doing anything and everything we can to position it for the stage that it truly deserves is an honor that we don't take lightly, and it's something we want to take advantage of every minute and every second of every day.
I'm sure you don't get tired of interacting with the fans and the community and everybody here, coaches, student athletes. I assume you've never seen a fat head of yourself until you came to a game here, right?
Well, a lot of people think they embellished the head and made it much bigger, but that's actually just the life-size version. I get a lot of compliments on the size of my cranium. So the fact that now our students have just that actual size alongside some of the other fat heads is pretty funny.
I can say it's not metaphorical. You do not have a big metaphorical head. But listen, it's been great. What's it been like, or what's the feedback you're getting from the students, basically?
Well, it's been awesome. I think the biggest thing is I was drawn to come back to be able to help pour into student athletes, and that to me has been the most invaluable aspect, the most rewarding aspect of this. It started on my very first day. I didn't have my swipe card yet, and as I rolled in at 5:45, a young man let me into the building. I bummed a swipe off of him, and that happened to be QB1 Byron Brown. So started off on the right foot from there. But I think the interaction with the fans and coaches and the entire team has been incredible. But it's the student athletes, to me, to be a part of this transformational period within their life has been fantastic. I was at our Dine Like a Pro event where they, alongside me, was learning about etiquette at a professional networking dinner last night. I think I was supposed to be the model, but I was learning as much as they were in terms of salads and knives and forks and everything else.
I still won't know.
It's, this period of all of our lives when you came to college just means so much as a foundation. And for us to have played this role and getting a chance to shape it is awesome, and something that I've enjoyed immensely.
Rob, before we talk more about USF, wanted to go back just a little bit. Obviously, you had a great run with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. You had a great walk-off shot a few weeks ago. The college football playoff championship games coming back to Tampa in 2029. We've had it before. Now you get to see it come back for a second time. What does that mean for this community? And how did you feel about, before you officially got out the door, that you got that one here?
Well, one of the founding fathers of Team Tampa Bay, our local sports community, was a guy by the name of Leonard Levy, as you know, and he had a great quote that we really live by in terms of identifying what success was like for us. And he would always say, if you like us, you will leave us. If you love us, you will come back. So our standard for success was always not if we got an event one time, it was if an event decided that based off of that first time that they were going to come back. So 4 NCAA Women's Final Fours, 3 Frozen Fours, 5 Super Bowls. The College Football Playoff National Championship, though, in 2017, we had not gotten back yet. So we spent 8 years working really hard to be able to get it back. So to have it coming in 2029 is special. Now, what will be really special is when, much like Super Bowl 55, when the Buccaneers played at home and won it, is when our USF Bulls play at home and win it. And that at that point, it will be a few in a row, not just our first. So I want to make sure that the expectation and the standards are going to be just that.
Well, I remember at the press conference you told Rich Clark, the head of the CFP, that a little codicil, page 1200, USF gets the automatic bid.
That's right. We bury the fine print. He hadn't caught it yet, but I was glad I went ahead and let everybody know, so I had plenty of eyewitnesses.
I'm sorry, Joe. What was that word again? Codicil?
Codicil. Yeah. I try to educate the bullseye.
Yeah, I'm going to Google that when I get back to the office there.
No idea.
I'll send it over.
Word of the day, folks. Word of the day.
Yeah.
This man is good with numbers over here. Joey's the words guy. 63 points the Bulls scored in honor of Leroy Selman after your first game officially here. Of course, Derek Brooks, coin toss, 55 points next game, which leads us obviously into Derek Brooks. You've built some of your Team Tampa Bay roots into USF roots now with he and Jason Layton, the one-of-ones as you call them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hit on both of them here quickly. Is Derek and I have had the opportunity to work together for the last 20 years, whether it was that College Football Playoff National Championship in 2017 or the Super Bowl in 2021. We have generated a lot of revenue together, raised a lot of money together, marketed a lot of events together, and most importantly, curated a lot of fan and athlete experiences together as well. And speaking of athletes, when it comes to our student athletes, there's no better standard or role model than to have Derek Brooks walking around the building at a place that Leroy Selman helped build. So for me, just so special. He's in there rolling up his sleeves with us 6:30 in the morning, helping get it done. And then to add somebody like Jason Layton, who has that rare skill set of both being on the business administrative side when he was with the Buccaneers and at Colorado State and then at Miami, and then also served as chief revenue officer at the University of Miami. So to get him here and to join our team was a true coup as well. So we're continuing to pull the puzzle pieces together. It's coming together in a really profound way, and it's something that we're naturally really excited about.
Rob, we're building a stadium, as everybody knows.
We are?
Yeah.
I hear
the noises.
That's not
I
a
hear
concept.
the pounding in my head. Not quite on the construction site at this very moment, but it'll be in a few minutes.
Hopefully
I'm sure.
that's
right on cue.
Hopefully that's not news to anyone by this point, but we are building a stadium. It's coming along. You've been at the site a number of times, I guess. How's it looking out there? What's the progress, and what are you looking forward to next?
Well, you talked about the role a few minutes ago and the feeling that you get. It is truly surreal as well and almost unimaginable when you tour the site. It is just so special. For homecoming week, we had a variety of the USF football legends, I call them the Forever Bulls, in honor of Coach Amir, bring out some of their favorite memorabilia and bury it in a time capsule in the player walk, the tunnel that the players will take the field with each and every game. But as you go through, and whether it's that player tunnel or outside with the tailgating lots to the operations center, all of it is being done in a really first-class manner. And it's something that, whether you're one of our 400,000 living alumni, whether you're one of our 50,000 students or 500 student athletes, it's something you're going to be really proud of. And I can't wait. 22 days away. I've got a countdown clock that's on my office desk that I see each and every day. I'm pretty sure it was at like 649 days. Don't hold me to that. But it's amazing. And it's something that, again, all of us are going to be really proud of. It's going to bring back a lot of people to campus. It's going to bring to campus a lot of new Bulls and future Bulls. And it's something, again, that we couldn't be more pumped about.
Thank you so much for the time. One last thing, Rob. I wanted you to send a message to Jim Locke. I know he's your longtime friend as well. 40 years of broadcasting, and he is starting to come to a close next weekend with his legendary career.
Yeah, well, Jim, you've been such an incredible talent and voice for our Bulls. Our tradition is laid based off of the moments that you've helped capture for us. I hear that 6 for the Bulls in the back of my head all the time, as only you can say it. You've shared in our successes. You've shared in some of the moments that have been challenging for us. But you've been there every step of the way, and we could not be more grateful. Thank you for your service, your commitment, your passion and enthusiasm for the Bulls. You've earned this upcoming rest. We know you're not going to be far. Can't wait to see you throughout the journey as well. But more so than anything, we just appreciate everything that you've done.
Commitment, passion, and all of those attributes, ones that you have in spades. Rob Higgins, thanks so much for spending some time with us on Bullseye.
Of course, thanks for having me on.
Of course. We'll wrap it up here shortly. Well, that was pretty fun all the way around. Rob Higgins, Joey, I know none of this surprises us for people that haven't known him before USF. He is the man for the job, isn't he?
Yeah, I've known Rob for a long time and have been able to observe all his great work with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission and knew him when he was working at USF back in the day. I think I'm even a little surprised at how much he does love this place and how dedicated he is and how much energy he has. I mean, I've known all these things, but man, he just comes at you like a hurricane, and the guy works like crazy, and he wants this place to be as good as it can be, and he's not going to stop at anything until it is. So Rob Higgins, you don't doubt his effort it's like a player. You know, his effort and his ability is on the field every single day.
And going to a dinner etiquette event with with members of the tennis team, he said he just got to know these people. By the way, we'll have a podcast coming out soon with Rob Higgins, and you're going to get to see him talk to student athletes, which I think is a great idea. Jeremiah Koger.
Yeah.
Pretty cool story about Alex Golesh and how he ended up being a Bull, but also how much he's humble, and yet you can just tell he's got the talent.
Such a fun guy
Yep.
on and off the field. He has provided such a spark of energy, just an injection of energy to this team, I feel like. And as a freshman, he's so special to watch. And you know, when you look at him and you look at Neptune and the way they talk about their teammates and that receivers room and who they look up to, and he's just mature beyond his years, I feel like, both on and off the field. So he's a treat for sure.
So the Bulls head to UAB for a 3 o'clock game. If you missed it, the home finale is against Rice, now a 7 o'clock game. We're not going to get all the scenarios here, okay, but just root for Temple this weekend, root for UTSA against East Carolina, and then we'll come back and tell you why those are good things for the Bulls. It's not over yet, that's for sure. Still 2 games left in the regular season, and still a 10-win, maybe beyond, sort of season in the grasp for the Bulls. For Joey Johnston, for Caylee, Cottrell, and all of our guests, I'm Darek Sharp. Thanks for checking us out. As always on Bullseye, please keep those horns up.